Hi, welcome to TableTopicsRE. I'm Bob Watson.
I'm Scott Schang.
And this is the recap for Social Media Mastermind Real Estate this Monday morning, August 8th. Today we had a really super discussion with 16 real estate professionals and actually marketing professionals that showed up today. And it centered a little bit around the topics of Facebook, LinkedIn, and where we create the hubs. But then what happened?
Yeah, then it started to turn into, actually we started a conversation with somebody that brought up the fact that even though they know tons of agents on social networks, if they were to list their house, they would list it with a real estate agent that drops flyers off at their house that they've never met in person before.
Yeah, that was a really interesting conversation because the person that brought that up was Vicky, and she's a marketing professional. She's not in real estate, but she lives up in Los Angeles in an over $1 million neighborhood. And the person that she was going to use if she had to market her home would be that person that she's not met in person, but sends the most amount of marketing material, albeit inexpensive marketing material, to her house. And she knows a lot of real estate agents. What do you think about that?
I think that's important to think about. There was a couple of things that she mentioned in the conversation that made a lot of sense, and it was the way that the agent differentiated themselves. The first thing was they were a real estate attorney, so they differentiated themselves as a real estate attorney. Also, she knew about them because they did a local fundraiser for a school that was kind of not considered a great school for the area. It was kind of run down, it was older, and this real estate agent, either through their marketing or through their office, went together and like repainted the school or something.
But it got donations for the
donations, but they put that on all of their marketing materials, on their on their flyers and whatever that they do. So she knew them as being a geographically, like a socially conscious business in her community, and that added an extra level of trust for her, for that particular person. So that led to a great conversation about how you set yourself apart, whether you know your local statistics, whether you know your inventory, how you're marketing. And today was a great conversation that combined what that message is offline and offline. And I think that the message is sometimes the same, but the conversations are different. You're looking for different opportunities online to start a conversation about real estate, whereas with traditional marketing, yes, it's more expensive, yes, it's more time consuming. One could say it's even less effective as far as conversion rates goes. But when you do that marketing, the consumer is expected to be marketed to. When they get a flyer, they're expected to be sold to.
And it goes back to the people that know the inventory, know the current market, and have some consistent marketing at hand. And this agent that she would probably choose doesn't do any online marketing that she knows of at all, although it's all direct mail, which led us to the next conversation, and that was how much money are agents actually spending per month? And we did a little poll here in the room of the 16 people that were here, and we started out with anybody that spends more than $500 a month in regular and internet advertising, and there was one person that raised their hand. The average amount of spend for advertising, both online and direct mail marketing, here in this room this morning was between $200 and $300 a month. So then, the question begs, if you're doing direct mail at $200 to $300 a month in a hyper-local area, how do you transition that and continue with what was very important, the consistent marketing?
Yeah, a topic that comes up all the time, or a conclusion I think that comes up all the time, is that social networks are best for branding. So I don't think you're advertising or marketing in these social networks. You're branding yourself, and you're building your sphere of influence, and you're amplifying your sphere. But the marketing and the sales are still going on there. Can you get more exposure by leveraging both of them? I think you absolutely can. But I don't think one replaces the other. I think that you've got to learn how to use both, integrally. intricate layer.
Right.
You have to integrate them together. You have to use online and offline, absolutely, because by far, we talk about social media all the time. This person in $1 million neighborhood wasn't going online for their listing. They were going to somebody who you might say old school, who's dropping off flyers, and they were crummy flyers even.
Okay. So the other thing that came about was likability. Likability of the agent.
Yep.
And how do you actually get to know an agent? And that brought us back to the other board over here, where we talk about how the social channels actually create a likability factor for agents that are using social media as a way to get to know people and create relationships online. So it was create relationships by participating online in social channels. It was a great discussion today. Any other closing thoughts, Scott?
No, just that I feel like the discussion is evolving, you know, as we see some of the same people showing up, you start to see the light bulbs go on. I think the most important thing that you can possibly have is to challenge what you know, ask lots of questions, get yourself into social network environments where you can continue to have these conversations, because it's continuously evolving, but I'm seeing more and more people that struggled with it months and months ago that are kind of starting to pick it up and starting to get it. You don't just go online. You
Right.
learn how to market your business online. And I'm starting to see that by having more and more conversations. So check in with us every week when we put up our videos. If you can't be here, you can at least listen to the conversation and see the things that we're talking about. And if you take away one little nugget out of each meeting, you know, you're evolving and learning.
But don't just take away. If you're watching this video from somewhere in the United States or actually in the world, and you have some techniques that you're using that maybe build on what we're talking about, please put them in the comments section, and maybe we'll do an online video interview with you so we can put you up on the channel to show everybody else what is going on in your part of the world. One thing that did come up was Craigslist, and how some people are using Craigslist to build their business exponentially. And that's something that we're going to be talking about a lot in the next few meetings, I think.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, have a great week, a productive week, and a successful week. This is Bob Watson.
Scott Schang.
Signing off for Table Topics Real Estate.